Anyone on the phone have any concerns on that? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C, bid number 2020-31.
Move to accept.
Second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion on the board? Anyone on the phone? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Last one under bid is RFQ 2020-26.
Move to accept.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion on the board concerning that? Anyone on the phone? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to the consent agenda.
Anything being pulled?
No, sir. Everything stays as is.
I move to accept consent agenda.
I second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Swindle and a second by Commissioner Byrd. Is there any discussion on the board? Any from the phone? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next portion is going to be public hearings. First one is petition RZ 20-0003.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Just as a prelude to my public hearings, there are a number of some minimal corrections that need to be made before you take a vote. This first public hearing agenda item is a petition for a rezone from agriculture to planned unit development. It's for the project that's known as Bixby Place. You approved a comprehensive plan amendment earlier this year from agriculture to multi-use development. The proposed layout of the project is attached to the resolution. They're proposing a mixed-use development that includes industrial park, commercial, and residential. They are also providing various forms of ingress and egress that will accommodate our future road network in the area. The correction that I need to make is that the vote at the LPA, we had a 4-0 vote with Orville Hauer abstaining because he had worked on the survey. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Entertain a motion.
I move to accept petition RZ 20-0003.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. This is a hearing of the public. So is there anyone in the public tonight that would like to address this? Anyone upon the phone that would like to address this? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right.
Petition number CPA 20-0007.
Yes, this is a county-initiated comprehensive plan amendment, text amendment. It's a transmittal hearing. This was an amendment to the agriculture future land use category to change the minimum lot size from 5 acres to 2 acres. The implementing and implementation of this will be based on the zoning of the property. So if you're zoned A2 and then you're in the agricultural future land use category, you still have to have a 5-acre parcel. But if you're zoned rural residential and you're in the future land use category of agriculture, you can have the 2-acre minimum that rural residential allows. This was presented to you, and we asked for that you approve us to go forward with this amendment. The local planning agency approved it, and the comment under the local planning agency meeting referred to this being a PUD and a project, and that's not the case. It's just simply an amendment to the comprehensive plan. Again, a text amendment. And the recommended option number 1 recommends that this be transmitted but based on the Florida statute section 163.3184 as opposed to what's there in your staff report. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Will this ever have to come back?
This will have to come back for adoption.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Emlich, real quick, I'm sorry, just please help me remember. Did we have a specific borough or somewhere in mind, or was it just, was there one area we were trying to help with this?
We absolutely have areas that are near Case Road and further south
Okay.
that are impacted by this. But we offered a map to show you other areas that would be impacted, and, you know, there's enough that makes this a benefit to the community.
Okay. We've not heard any negative comments, no?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I move to accept
I'll second the motion.
CPA 20-0007.
I'll still second the motion.
Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. It's also a hearing of the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to address this at this time? Anyone via phone? We gotta get a little sticker so we can see that, so we don't wait all this
Yeah,
time. for no
green or
reason.
red?
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
They can
Thank you.
put their hand up.
Petition number LDC 20-0002.
Yes, again, this is a county-initiated amendment to the Code of Ordinances. It's amending Chapter 1-7, Buildings and Building Regulations, specifically repealing Section 1-7-3, Establishment of Wind Speed Line, and amending Chapter 1-58, Buildings and Building Regulations, specifically Section 1-585, Technical Codes, by adopting a new section, 1-585, sub E, Establishment of Wind Speed Line. And this has to do with recommending that the county adopt the 170 mile an hour wind speed requirement for the risk category for buildings and structures. The one correction in this particular agenda item has to do with the language in the ordinance. And if you look at page 2 of the ordinance, under section 2, at the very end, the last line, last sentence needs to read figure 1609.3, paren 3, attached as Exhibit A is incorporated herein by reference.
Do you have to have all those dashes?
Yes, sir, if I didn't, somebody would tell me I was wrong.
You have a lot of dashes. I move to accept.
You got second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. This is also a hearing of the public. Does anyone in the public like to address this? Anyone by phone? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move into the staff reports. We got time to keep moving, so we're going to keep rolling. Ms. Emily, do you want to come back?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Commissioners.
Been a long time.
So this staff report also has a correction I need to make on it as well. Thank you. This is a request for an amendment to the fee schedule. We have been working with the property appraiser's office regarding lot splits and lot split application, and we finally come to an agreement on an application that we both will use and a process so that the public has, you know, more continuity, and that application was in your consent agenda items today. The discussion here, though, is with working with the property appraiser, they felt like we shouldn't be charging our our $150 for our lot split review. Staff is not in agreement with that because of the time and effort that it takes for staff to review these types of applications, because they're, not only do we have to review them for compliance with the zoning category, but Shane and his office spend a lot of time correcting or addressing the legal descriptions and references on the survey and so on. And we feel like that it's an appropriate charge for our services. And it's an important service that we're providing so that we can ensure that the properties are buildable. We've had situations in the past where folks have split properties without coming through us first, and then they come to us for a building permit, and we have to tell them that they have a substandard parcel and can't build. So we've provided you with options, 3 options, and, or actually 4 options, but staff is recommending option 1, and that would be to recommend not to make changes to the fee schedule. The correction that has to be made on the staff report is, I had written that you need to conduct a public hearing on the first 3 options, and that's not correct. You don't have to conduct a public hearing. That's up to your discretion.
What was the reasoning
Yeah.
behind the clerk? Why did the clerk think that we shouldn't charge that?
It was a property appraiser.
Property appraiser.
I really, I can't answer that. I don't know what the answer is. It just felt like, they don't charge, they felt like we shouldn't charge. We have a different operation where we are in our department and with the county.
So what do? Do they review like you do, or
No,
they just stamp it, go on?
they'll read the legal, but they don't do the research that we do and don't look for compliance with the comprehensive plan or the zoning.
We ran into problems with this in the past where folks, they go to the property appraiser and they believe it's a zoning,
Yeah.
but it's not a zoning, so I think we need to stick to our part of the review of that myself.
Yes.
It's going to save staff a lot of headaches, and really, a lot of folks in the public that don't fully understand that. I've gotten calls the same way, and they don't realize it's an ag exemption. It's not an ag-based exemption. It's just for the property itself, so just my 2 cents worth.
Mr. Chairman, and if I'm not mistaken, was it 2 or 3 years ago, we lowered fees dramatically
Yeah.
for everything that we did within the county. And look, ultimately, I wish we could do everything for free and it not cost anyone anything, but the reality of it is it's an enterprise fund which you use to pay bills and hire our folks with, correct?
I need to correct that. We're not, planning and zoning is not an enterprise zone. It's the building department.
Building, okay.
That,
Right,
that
they
is an
are.
enterprise zone.
Well,
However, it does go, the application fees go into the general fund to support, staff and various
staff or
things.
expenses or whatever it may be. Okay, all right. So do we need to do anything different then? Would you even need a motion to not
Yeah.
change it?
Well, you need to choose which
I
option that you
Well,
would,
if you leave it alone, you don't need to do anything, do you?
Right, if the consensus is to leave it alone, no action is
So
needed.
just, we leave it alone, you okay?
yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Good.
That's it? No other questions? Thank you.
Mr. Parker?
For the record, Shane Parker, Henry County Public Works Director. First item I have for you is addendum to Everglades Airport Agriculture Lease, parcel 5678 with U.S. Sugar. They have a current lease. They're allowed 2 renewals. This is their last renewal they're asking for. Mark wanted me to reach out to FAA. I have. I sent them the rate, comparison rates. They found those acceptable. I received a call today from FAA just wanting a little bit more detail, but the conversation in it was, we're good with it, so.
I move option 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion on that? Anyone on the phone would like to speak to that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That little drain's gonna drive me crazy.
Chairman, the next item I have for you is addendum to Everglades Airport Agriculture Lease Parcel 9 and 10 with United States Sugar Corporation. Basically the same, I'm asking for the same thing.
I move to accept.
I'll second.
We tied.
Motion by Commissioner Burden Harris. Second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion on the board? Anyone on the phone would like to address that? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman, the next item I have for you is Henry County Health Department Christel Change Order Number 8 to STA Number 1 for hurricane impact windows. This is the board previously approved installing hurricane impact windows, doors, and storefront glass. And the health department got a grant, withdrew
that's
it.
great.
Now they got other grant fundings they want to use, they want to move forward with it, so now I'm asking you to go back with Christel Construction for it.
But you don't know what it's gonna cost. right?
Yes, sir, I do. Guaranteed maximum price of $145,133.60.
Okay. The grant has it all covered.
Their grant has it
Right, their
covered.
grant will cover it with nothing out of board funds.
We'll have to pay, but they'll reimburse us, and I'm asking the board to authorize the county attorney to prepare an addendum and then for the chairman to execute.
Okay, I'll move option 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? Anyone on the phone? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman, the last item I have for you is LaBelle Airport Land Acquisition, 3035 Mignon Circle. This is for the last remaining lot that the county does not own in the runway protection zone at the south end of the LaBelle Airport. We have an agreement with CHL Homes where they'll be willing to swap that parcel of land for a county landlocked parcel of land. I emailed it to you, and you have a handout also.
So move to accept.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Anyone on the phone? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Is the roof leaking now?
Sir,
Is this roof leaking?
that's a drain.
Here?
That's a drain.
Oh, Lord.
So get a cup of water and pour it on somebody, please.
We,
It's thirsty. Okay,
I
we got,
An agenda addition. I have one.
Yes,
agenda
ma'am, if you
addition,
would,
if
please.
that's okay. It's just the sheriff's department request for their contingency funds that they do every year of $30,000. I just need you all to approve it.
you need a motion?
Yes, please.
It needs to say to approve the sheriff's department's $30,000 contingency fund.
Yes, sir.
I'll move.
I second it.
motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion on that? Anyone on phone? I figured it must have been something because the sheriff showed up now.
Oh, pack of them back there.
First
All
time-
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
First time you've been
Motion
there.
carries.
He shows up.
I was giving him money, he showed up.
Might be the candy.
Is that what it is?
Once a year.
Oh, he knew we had candy.
Candy, new candy.
We got candy.
Take a break so we can act.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing to bring up.
Yes, sir.
So, with respect to the meetings, how we're doing them, you know, we've been doing well, I don't need to explain how we've been doing it, because you know, but the governor's authority to continue to do virtual meetings, it appears to be expiring, or will be expiring September 30th, if he does something tomorrow or Tuesday or Wednesday, but he hasn't done yet. So that authority to meet virtually will no longer exist. So that means that you have to have, you know, a quorum of members physically present. You all have been meeting that for some time. But then also, you have to be present to vote. So a couple of you, a couple times during this pandemic have appeared by phone and voted, and that won't be allowed to continue without that extension of that authority. Now, the choice for you is whether you want to keep on doing the phone option for the public to participate. You know, we've been offering that and advertising that, and so the question.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Commissioner Turner.
I can hear Mark, and I think the gist of what he said is that the governor's order as of this last discussion is everything's getting ready to expire. We have to be our butts in the chair, and then do we want to have the ability to have the virtual? I think, I'm the biggest proponent there is. No, like, what am I talking about? All of us are proponents of making sure the public has access, but no one's taking advantage of this. So let's get back to normalcy. And if somebody wants to come and address the board, they can come and address the board. But I don't want to go through having staff have to set up another line and all of that. If number one, it's not being used, and number two, we're not obligated, so to speak. So I'm ready for us to get back into real time and be done with it.
I was ready to make those comments, and I would just follow up with that. Do we have any data? I mean, over the several months we've done it, how many people have called in?
One,
One
One or two every meeting.
per meeting?
just one.
No, well, I mean,
No, not per
not
meeting.
just watch, but participate, call in with discussion, call in with issues.
We haven't had
Nothing,
that.
I've not heard any of y'all.
No.
So I certainly don't mind doing it, but I can't agree more with Commissioner Turner. And they can still watch and follow along because you're live streaming
And
and
they do
stuff
that,
anyway.
yeah.
Right, right. 'Cause
Okay.
we're not gonna, right, we're not gonna stop doing that. Okay.
Okay.
Do you need a motion? Or-
No, I don't think so. So we'll,
Okay.
it's gonna, the only thing virtually we'll be doing is the, live stream that we've been doing even before the pandemic. That will continue,
Okay.
but nothing further than that, is what I'm hearing.
Okay,
Sounds good.
I like it.
Take a 5-minute break. We gotta wait till 5:30.
5-minute break.
Yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and we'll get right back to this. 5 minutes. Don't be gone long. You gonna ask me? Okay.
Let's go.
Break it up.
Yeah, right, yeah, we're campaigning back there.
They get a little hostile.
Well, we got everybody in the back passing out cards and flags. Come on.
Sheriff's away.
Well, you know. Okay, we're going to be calling the meeting back to order. We're going to start with a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County, Florida, adopting the final levying for ad valorem taxes for Hendry County for the fiscal year 2020-21. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County, Florida, on September 28th,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Chairman.
It's all right.
I really prefer that you do the script here as opposed to reading the resolution, because that's really got some things in there that.
I'm looking at the resolution, where's the script?
I seen it. Where'd I
It's
see
right,
it?
it's in the front, right here.
It's in the very front? Is this it here? Final budget hearing?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's in the
Okay,
hearing.
I skipped that. I just gonna resolute it and go on. We'll film it first. Take two.
You came to place.
Practice.
The final budget hearing, the public hearing is now open for Hendry County Board of County Commissioners. Final budget fiscal year 2020-21 pursuant to Florida statute section 200-065. First item of business, adoption of final millage rate. The rollback rate is 7.4135 mils. The tentative millage rate adopted on September 10th was 7.75, which is 4.5% more than the rollback rate. This is a public hearing. Is there any public comment at this time, either in person or on phone?
I moved millage rate at 7.75.
Second the motion?
We got a motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Swindle. One final opportunity before we vote. Anyone on the phone or anyone in the public? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is adoption of the final budget. The total budget for fiscal year 2020-21 is $70,257,833, which is mostly going to the sheriff, but I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry I got off the script, Mr. Lapp. I apologize. This is a public hearing.
He's also,
Is there any public comment on this?
he's also buying tires.
Is he? Okay. Anyone on the phone would like to speak to this?
I move to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Anyone by phone? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I'm not telling you what I'm driving home. That's a good thing I love you, brother.
I'm glad somebody.
Okay, do you want to go through we're done with that then, is that correct? That was the only thing we had left was board business. Anyone like to address the board at this time? Anyone by phone? Business by district, Mr. Swindle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That went faster than I thought, so I wasn't all the way prepared. On the old business, it's just a quirky question. On the old business, I was just reading through that, and it said that the flagpole establishment outside of Clewiston was gonna cost us a couple of $1,000s a year.
That is I think that was the estimate of the power. Is that, Randy, wasn't that what you guys came up with? Yeah. Right.
Who's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
pay, who's gonna pay for that?
So we hadn't got that far yet, but we were looking to potentially share it with the city and the county. But again, we're not quite that far along.
Okay.
Is that DOT land or Clewiston land?
It-
That's DOT.
yeah.
Yes, 27.
They need to pay it then.
We're seeking their permission to put it there right now, so.
Yeah. Okay, all right, okay, thank you. And lastly, it's just been a while since we've had a code enforcement update. I know at one point, we tried to go with a company and it just didn't pan out so well, but you were looking at another one. Are you doing anything further to try to get someone in-house to have wide arms and a wide net to improve an enormous amount of code enforcement, things like the path you were going down?
Margaret Embledge for the record. We don't have any intentions of hiring additional personnel. The contract with the folks that we had, we're going to cancel the contract. They were not as helpful as we had thought. We're not planning on going out for another RFP at this time. We are, though, going to the special magistrate. We've had a few hiccups the last couple of months, slowing us down. But the special magistrate, we're looking at 2 meetings a month to catch up. And we will bring a report, because we've been very lucky that with this last few months, we've had a lot of compliance that has occurred. But again, we also have had a lot of new violations and so on. I mean, it's a never-ending story.
Yeah, that's right.
But
You've not been doing anything because of the court's been shut down, right? So you've not been able to do magistrate or anything.
we have been doing magistrate.
You have been? How long?
Yes.
Did that ever stop?
No, it didn't stop.
And never, I for some reason thought they had stopped.
I think we might have skipped
They're also
one
in
meeting.
court.
Mark, yeah.
They're back in court
March,
now as well?
but yes,
Okay.
we've got 80 cases scheduled.
Okay. Oh, good.
And then, anyway, like I said, we're looking at trying to do 2 a month. But
Awesome.
I'll get you more, another report, I'll email
Yeah,
it
yeah,
to
that'd be
you
great.
all.
I'd love to see just kind of an update on where they are number-wise, and then the compliance piece, which I love to see, so I love
Right.
to see the compliance side of it.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Did you want to, about the
I-
Polly?
No, if you want me to, I will.
No,
but
if you
that's
want to
your-
give an update,
okay,
a lot of
so
folks haven't heard about
I
that.
think Commissioner Byrd also visited Recycle Poly, I think, right? It's been, okay, so a couple of weeks back, I visited Recycle Poly, and really for a couple of reasons, but one reason is from the commissioner hat, I know they were here, and that I was very interested in what they were doing. They asked us to push back some of the things that we were kind of going down the road with them. And if anybody, I'll leave this up here, and those large piles that you see out there, this is what they're making out of it. It goes through a cleaning process and then a little bit of a heat, and then back through another machine that presses it and then chops it again. And basically, they then sell this to companies that make bags, like when you go to the store and you get the bag at the end and put your stuff in it, then this goes back to that company and gets recycled back in. So, make a long story short, when they were here, they said they were seeking funding. They received the funding. They're receiving some new equipment as we speak. They're setting an appointment up to come to me to go to some of our evening adult programs this week. And they're going to be interviewing and hopefully hiring some electricians and some technicians to help run the automated systems and to start ramping up and getting moving. Are the piles gone and cleaned up like we hope? No. But, at least we do see some motion. We see positive things coming out of them. So, I'm proud of that and just want to report that to, all of you who are here and part of it. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Just to tag on what Commissioner Swindle said, and you mentioned the fences, and they have got the fences. They've started. They've been reducing the size of the piles like they said they would. So it seems like they are gonna go along. And, Commissioner Harris and I both were pretty adamant. We were kind of fed up with that process, but it looks like it's gonna work out to be a good thing. So that's really nice of you to go ahead and present that tonight,
Sure.
Commissioner Swindle, just so everyone would know, because usually all we hear is the bad stuff. So it's good to hear something good. That they are moving forward, so thank you for that report.
You bet.
Commissioner Byrd?
This is concerning transportation disadvantage. Their report this week after the meeting, they had 1,116 met needs as far as transportation. It was 424, which is 38% for Glades County, 692 with Henry County, was 62% with 692 for Henry County. They had 5 unmet needs, and we know when we dealt with the Goodwill, it was a lot more than that. But 3 of them was because of the COVID. The other 3 was because of transportation for students going to Collier County. There is a lot more improvement. I believe 5 out of 7 of those vehicles belong to Henry County. They're still sorting it out, so hopefully by the time January come, we have our transportation, where it needs to be at. So that was a plus. It wasn't, I saw one complaint, but the complaint was something that could not have been helped when someone's sick. But other than that, I think the numbers are higher now, the percentage rate is higher. It's more coming out of Glades County than it had been. So it's not as much as unmet needs coming out of Glades County, nor Henry County. So I usually get calls, but I haven't gotten any. Other than that, thank you. Also, I'd like to just have a moment of silence. Deputy Angela Shavers from Henry County, she worked for Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department, was laid to rest Saturday. She was a resident of Henry County, And we just want to appreciate all the servicemen, all the officers, whether it be Henry County or Palm Beach County. She will be missed. She was a close friend of mine, so we just want to make sure we continue to pray for the officers, not just this county, but the surrounding counties.
Thank you, Ms. Byrd. Commissioner Harris?
Jennifer, housing and planning, is that SHIP or is that Margaret and SHIP?
It's SHIP, but Margaret is over that department, yes. sir.
Okay, are they making any headway?
On the RFP, is
Yeah.
that what you're asking?
We are advertising for the RFP. It'll be in the paper this week. We'll also be placing it on other website portals to reach a greater audience, because we know that the resources are not necessarily going to be local, but we're moving forward with the RFP to get additional assistance to help us with the SHIP program, so we can spend those dollars.
They never did give you amount, did they? Did they give you a number?
Well, during the RFP, they'll give us a number.
They'll give you a number then
Yes, sir, yeah.
for that?
The request for proposal, the folks will have to
Yeah.
give us a fee, but they will have to be within the amount that is allocated for project delivery in the SHIP program, so they can't go over that.
Right.
And it won't be out of our pocket, but it does come out of the big pot of dollars for assistance.
Yeah, so we won't know how much.
Right, not right now until they come in.
Okay?
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Yeah. How are we doing on the CARES? I know we got a report in here, but I'm just curious if maybe some of the people in the public may want to hear what
Sure.
we're getting the opportunity to see,
I
so.
just got this right before the meeting, I'll send this out to you all. So Friday, we had to turn in a report to the state and say how much we've expended, how much we have encumbered, in order to get access to the next 20%. So they gave us a 25% advance. So as a summary, we have, which I don't have a total here for the expenditure, give me one quick second. So sorry. Enter, okay. We have, that's not right. We have encumbered a total of 1.2 million, and we have spent a total of 165,000 for business, $68,000 for individual, and a little over $9,000. It's the bucket for the individual that has to do with the specific housing program. So let's just say about $77,000 for individual, we'll say it that way. 165 for business. Those are checks that have been cut and that have went out, but we've encumbered the whole 750,000 for the business. And so, don't hold me to these numbers, but if we have, for example, 144 business applications, we're going to be able to fund at the $750,000 level, let's just say somewhere between 80 and 90 of those applications. So anything below that line, if you will, is considered today unfunded. But we don't want to say out loud, because things could change and we may have some other buckets that we can move some stuff around, that we might be able to fund those. And so that's where we are right now. We have these numbers together. The state is also asking for a plan, which we have the plan because the one we submitted to you. We have what we've spent. We have the remaining. That's our plan to be able to get the additional 20%. Then everything after that is reimbursable. So we're working on the plan this week. We're working on getting all the other funds that have been encumbered out for processing to the clerk's office so they can actually cut those checks. The plan's going to go to the state. We're hoping to hear back from the state for them to bless it, if you will, so we can move forward. Now, they could have, and this is where I'm going with the business applications, for example, that are past the encumbered number. The state may come back and they may say some of the things on our plan isn't eligible, for example. We feel like most of it is, but we feel like there's a couple things that we really need to see clarification on. So let's just say they come back and they say, no, that's not eligible, then we would propose to potentially take those dollars and move them back over to the, for example, in this case, the business side, and fund the rest of the applications. And so it's a little bit of a moving target right now, but that's where we're at.
That's awesome. Glad to hear it.
Commissioner Turner, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Go ahead, Commissioner. Business by district,
I'm-
anything?
No, sir, I'm good, sir. Thank you very much.
Can you see Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Turner? He just- Real quick, Shane, have we made any headway on Polywog? Remember we talked about that in the last meeting about getting, you're welcome.
No, she was my friendly reminder. I emailed Dan DeLisi today. I have not had a chance to do it beforehand, but I sent him the judgment for Polywog, and I sent him the a location map, and had 3 questions for him that I sent. And so when I hear something back, I'll let you know.
Okay, to follow up on that as well, Glades County, that's a problem in Glades County as well. Have we maybe spoken with Glades County to see if we can partner on this and get this thing working?
I have not spoken to Glades County. I don't know what issues they're having up there with Polywog.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. I got a lot of folks that live just on that, just over the county line
I
there.
know in Shawnee,
Yeah, all that back through there, and that's part of that problem. So I don't know if maybe if we get an ask of them to help us go along with this, maybe we can help,
Can
move
do
that,
that.
move that ahead.
When it
Can do
comes
that for
out of
sure.
Glades right through us.
Right, yes, sir.
And did we ever figure out who owns that?
unless it's sold, it was Israel DeLeon or something like that, was the last name I recall seeing, or DeLeon Israel.
Or what about the whole Polywog? Who owns
The
that?
whole Polywog, different landowners, and
Is it half and half?
well, unless it's shifted, about half and half. You got Calusa Loop Road, the landowners on the east side of the road, and on the north side, they own to it. And then landowners at the Handy, working your way back along Apache
So it'd
Circle.
be same as Jack's Branch?
Exact same thing.
Okay, and the one more real quick, we had a lot of flooding in Fort Deneau, and, that's been a problem for years and years. I'm going back when I was at Road and Bridge cleaning out the same culverts.
Right.
I spoke with Jerry Jones, actually met him out there and went through quite a bit of that. We really need to visit that area and see if we can get that drainage. It's the back corner, Trader and all that
I
back in the
remember what you're
corner.
talking about, yeah.
So I'd ask him to get with you. I don't know if he had a chance yet, but I'd really appreciate if you guys could look at that. Let's see if we can get that water moving. And the problem with that was, part of that is the old canal that runs behind the cemetery there, which I understand we're having trouble with that again. I'll speak with you that after we get done tonight real quick. Some fence stuff, there's issues, and,
I spoke to Mr. Hilton today. I'm actually meeting him tomorrow at 4.
okay, well,
Me and Jerry are.
I've been in that meeting myself a couple years back.
Gotcha.
So, but that drainage access through there is bad as well. What I'd ask Jerry is if we could, the portion we have on the new cemetery, we could reach that, we could clean that.
We could reach it. He wanted to use mechanical cleaning, and I told him, no, that's not the way to go, because it's a natural gully. We don't want to go in there with a track hoe.
Okay.
So cut, drag out with machinery, but cut and herbicide, leave, roots in place and take out would be
Yeah.
the appropriate way to go.
Well, part of the problem, what they're saying is, in the back, they believe that the drainage has been filled up on the Grove side. I did not get access to go look, so that's something else maybe get on our list maybe to do, is just that area.
We can look at
Somewhere
that.
where the Orange Grove goes through there, Shane, they said they filled the
Right.
drainage in, and that really caused it to back up too. I get it, we get that much water at one
Yeah.
time, but that's just been an ongoing thing forever.
We'll
out
look
there,
at it. We're going to be redoing all the roads through there, resetting culverts, just like we did on Case and Evans. But when it dries up, we're going to put a track hoe in. There's a few north-south ditches
Yes,
that we haven't cleaned since we've been here. Well, I don't know, probably since it was developed, but we're gonna run a track hoe through there and clean them out. They're north-south, they run to the Billy Howard, and then we could reprofile the ditches on the side to drain there, and hopefully that'll speed up. But the main drain was flowing good, it really was. But if we get the Fort Denode Slough open up, which will be right of entry, that
Yeah.
will help out a lot.
yeah, we cut the one pipe out in the back there, and that water left.
Yeah.
And I think part of that problem is the pipe that's there, there's a whole concrete squash pipe in there. I just don't think it can handle volume, but we'll get together on it, but I appreciate the update on
Okay.
that too. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, You were talking about Pollywog Creek. I didn't know you were going to speak about it, but my dad actually lives on it. And Commissioner Harris has been out there, and, my dad's creek goes probably another 40 foot out, my dad's property, to the creek, but it's over years has washed out to where the bank height is. But we had that issue with the high water in the blockages. It's called the water to reroute, and it washed an area as big as this room here out another 30 foot onto his property. So it's just been like that for a year now. And well, he called me up last week and said, hey, I just got a bad sinkhole. So I went out, he had about a 10 by 20 sinkhole that started at the end of that washout, about from here to the corner from his house. So we had to go in there and have a machine come in, dig it out, fill it back in, and try to stop it from, because it was underwashing is what it was
Right.
doing over time. So, yeah, if there's anything that can be done with that creek, we sure appreciate it.
Steve, will he give the county right of entrance?
I actually, yeah, he did, and I actually own half of it now, because,
Shane said no.
no, I own half of it, yes. Well, he was upset because he couldn't get anywhere with the state and everybody. He's just like, what the hey, nobody's gonna do anything anyway, so.
So you own the
Yeah.
half where the creek's at?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just something, actually, Commissioner Turner brought up, that we was talking about getting with South Florida Water Management last meeting. The reason I was asking that question, because it's not gonna go away. I mean, it's gonna be a problem, from now on. The more we build, the more the water's gonna be restricted, the more it's restricted, the more it's gonna wash other places away.
Right.
So we don't want private landowners getting washed away if we can help that. That was why I asked that question. So I got the calls about the properties as well, so.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's really all I have too. We need to make sure that everybody's, watching out for each other. So that's that time of the year. It's wet, animals are moving. So, appreciate all of you. Thank you, staff, for all that you do. I know that we pick on y'all a lot because we love you.
Make you feel the love too.
I love them more than you. Just kidding. Meeting adjourned, Sheriff.
Shane. Mr. Parker.
Tracy.
Snakes crawling.